Oseo to my Indians. Salam to my Muslims. Shalom to my Hebrew Israelites. Respect to my Rastas. You hear me? Alafia to my Yoruba brothers and sisters. You hear me? Hello to everybody else. You heard? I hope everybody feeling good for no reason at all, radiating, vibrating, emanating, being the highest illustration and the best version of yourself through your present demonstration. You hear me? Hope everybody feeling good for no reason at all. I was sitting here meditating on something. I hear my brother Top Cat say, and if any of y'all standing on any Indian business, make sure you check out my brother legendary Top Cat. Y'all check the brother out. He be dropping them bombs. If you standing on Indian business, y'all check legendary Top Cats out. But I was sitting here thinking on something brother Top Cat be saying, and he say spirituality or genealogy is the highest form of spirituality. And I agree with that 100%, you know. I agree with that 100%. Because everything they pass down, we pass it on. So genealogy is the highest form of spirituality. You hear me? And that's why I do this here. Cause so shadow work is a part of go with the genealogy being the highest form of spirituality. Shadow work is important because everything that they passed on, for those who missed it the first time, for everything they passed down, we pass on. You hear me? So that's what makes this important. And when you ain't lying to yourself about yourself, you see everything and everybody that represent the line of your life. If you don't listen, you're going to miss it, as my shirt implies. You hear me? Salute to the Cosmic Consciousness family and soul tribe. You hear me? Peekaboos and passerbys. New subscribers, welcome to the family. I appreciate y'all. I want to say, give acknowledgement to the most highest source. I want to give acknowledgement to the ancestors. I want to give acknowledgement to all the higher beings that watch over us and protect us. But then I want to give acknowledgement to y'all. You hear me? Cause it ain't no me without us. So I appreciate y'all. You heard? You know, and with all I don't say it thus far in mind, we don't heard. The greatest trick the devil ever played was made the world think he exists. But nobody told us about the second part. But I'm about to let us know what the second part is. But I'm going to repeat what I said. We don't all heard the greatest trick the devil ever played was made the world think it didn't exist. But the second part, or the second trick that the devil played that nobody told us about was make us think that he was the good guy or she was the good guy. You hear me? Whatever form that being appear in human beings in. You hear me? If you don't listen, you're going to miss it. The greatest trick the devil ever played was make the world think it exists. But the second trick the devil played was made the world think that it was the good guy. You hear me? I don't know why nobody talk about that. You know, it's either they don't know or they don't know. But we just learned something today. You hear me? And I don't know how this is going to go. So if you got short attention span, you might want to clock on out right now. You know, if you one of the people that can't learn nothing from nobody else or think you know it all, you might want to go ahead and clock out right now. And not because I'm going to teach you something, but because I'm going to say something that's going to allow you to teach yourself something. If you don't listen, you're going to miss it. You hear me? Yeah, but when you ain't lying to yourself, see, you're a totally different being. You hear me? That's why shadow work important. And those who don't been around don't heard me say before, one person in alignment worth a million who not. And it's a million who not. You hear me? So if you hear, make sure that you be the proof. You hear me? Contrary to power belief. Contrary Damn, my tongue got tied. And we is in retrograde. But contrary to popular belief, good and evil, yin and yang, life and death, are not separated from one another. You hear me? And they are they make a whole. That's why they're not separated, because they make a whole. You hear me? And they are interrelated, intersected, intertwined aspects of our luminosity. Because it ain't outside. Nothing don't come from outside. We vibrate that shit to us. If you don't listen, you gonna miss it. But good and evil are not separated from one another. They are interrelated aspects of our luminosity. And for those of us that don't know what luminosity means mean radiance. You know, it can mean how you emanate your light, light or dark. You hear me? Your light can be light or dark. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. But luminosity means radiance, radiation, emanation. You hear me? Impartation, brightness. You know, how you make the unseen visible with your energy. You know, or otherwise. But I said that to say I contemplate both. And since we're not robots and have free will, we get to choose. We get to choose if we're going to use how we use our free will in accordance to human and what divine will is. You hear me? But we got to do some inner work to know what divine will is. You hear me? Or we probably going for anything. I just say it like that to be like salve coagulate. You hear me? Anybody know what that means? Salve coagula. Do anybody know what that means? And we say it all the time in the English translation or through English translation in the form of as above, so below. So I ain't leave you to think I just told you what salve coagula mean. As above, so below. You know, because I ain't want to leave nobody thinking. For those who didn't know, you hear me? But what salve coagula mean is to separate and unite. If we ever seen the picture with that horn being doing this here, it's salve coagulate. You hear me? To separate and to unite. Unite. And that's what we do upon coming here. We be fully integrated in the womb. But once we come outside, out here, to this in the world, then we get separated. The more we grow up, the more we get separated. The more we grow up, the more we get separated. The more we grow up, the more we get separated. Because what the family structure do, what the eventually friend structure do, later on what the society structure do, the community structure do, so forth and so on. You hear me? We get separated, you know, which is that to separate and reunite aspect of salve coagula, as above, so below. We got to reunite. We got to do the reintegration. If you don't listen, you're going to miss it. But I said that to say this. By denying our shadow side, our dark side, you hear me? We neglect half of our, we neglect half of existence as a human being or as a human and experiencing ourselves as spiritual beings. You hear me? By denying our dark side, by denying our shadow side, we neglect half of existence of our humanness, humanity, humane experience as spiritual beings. You hear me? So don't let your ego ruin a good thing because you're stuck in your own way. You hear me? Change is okay. Change is okay. You hear me? Change is okay. Where I want to go at. Change is okay, man. And sometimes you got to get away Sometimes you got to get from around. Sometimes you got to get unfamiliar with everything you familiar with. If you don't listen, you're going to miss it. You know? And that may not necessarily mean permanent. It just may mean temporary. In other words, know how to take some you yourself and you time. You hear me? Because you see everything you couldn't see when it was right in your face. When you give yourself that type of opportunity. You hear me? Or life give you the opportunity, because things happen all the time. You know, people come together and fall apart all the time, every day. It ain't no secret. You hear me? It's part of life. It's part of what we call life. You hear me? But one thing that we're not gonna do is let it contaminate us here. We're gonna still hold people in love regardless of what. You hear me? Especially if you're doing shadow work, because you know that's what it's all about. You hear me? We grow together to grow apart. Somewhere, at any point in time, that's happening somewhere. You hear me? So it's good to know how to disengage, you know, so the info can come through, regardless of the circumstance. You hear me? Or regardless how we feel about it. Everything for a reason, you know. Because you either gonna live how the world wants you to live, you see, or you're gonna live how you want to see yourself. That's the difference, because it is one. You hear me? So it's important. It's important. You know, we must find a balance. We must find a balance. When you learn yourself, you realize you're here because you chose to come, and you was granted access to come here for a reason. So if you here, I hope you grateful about something. You hear me? Cause I am. You know, cause the last thing I chose to do, personally, you know, the last thing I chose to do was run from the reasons I'm here in the first place. The last thing I chose to do was hide from the reasons that I'm here in the first place. The last thing I chose to do was sweep under the rug the reasons that got me here in the first place. Is anybody listening? Because if you don't listen, you're going to miss it. You hear me? So I do this inner work through the outer experiences that reveal the work that need to be done within in the first place. You ain't get your pen and pad, you should have brought your pen and pad. And those who've been around already know better. You know, anytime I show up, have your pen and pad, because I'm going to say something that allow you to give yourself a teaching moment if you catch it. Because I can't teach y'all nothing, man. Words don't teach. I can't teach y'all nothing, but I can say a whole lot of things for you to teach yourself. Because most of us don't want to be told nothing. No way. Or we selective who it's coming from. You hear me? And most times we selecting the wrong individuals to listen to. You hear me? You ain't gotta ask me how I know. This wisdom comes from a lot of hard-headedness. You hear me? Yeah. You know, I deal with resistance all the time because I know how to read energy. What the eyes saying, what the body language saying. I know how to read in a whole lot of ways. You hear me? You know, and the resistance just show me, you know, who no longer resonating with me when it comes to what was, you know, and who never was when it comes to those that's coming in. You hear me? You know, yeah. All relationships matter. All relationships matter. And the lack of them, because they teach us about ourselves. Is anybody listening? You know, and they learn us. They learn us who we can relate to, how we can relate to them, and what not to relate with. So all relationships matter, and the experiences that come with them. You hear me? For those who missed it the first time, all relationships matter because of the experiences that come with them. Because when you learn yourself, you realize you're here because you chose to come for a reason. So learn the lessons. Accept the lessons. Release the grudges. Don't hold resentments. Regardless of what, man. Life too short. to spend time at war with ourselves. Cause a lot of the things that we think we in a battle with somebody else about, man, don't even matter to them people. I'm one of them people. You see? Cause I ain't here to battle. I'm here for the war. You hear me? It's ancestor business. It's ancestor business. Cause genealogy is the highest form of spirituality. You hear me? And that's why this shadow work is so important. This is why everything I'm doing is so important. Because everything that they pass down, we pass on. Unless we be the generation of curse breaker. Are you a generation of curse breaker? Cause this one talking to you. You hear me? Yeah. Stir the pot so nothing don't stick. You know, I'm gonna talk to us a little bit. But yeah, the last thing I'm gonna do is sweep anything under the rug. The last thing you should do is get all that mess from under the rug. So the inner work can be done. You see? So your inner work can be done. Gotta sweep all that stuff get all that stuff from under the rug, man. Get that rug, go into that rug, go within and go into that rug and start shaking it out and let that stuff come up, you know, so you could deal with it. You know, all that stuff we be repressing and all that shit we don't carry for years after years, you know. Go on within and shake that rug, you hear me? So that shit could come out and start rising to the surface. We could deal with things, you know, step by step, brick by brick. You hear me? Until the whole building replenished. You hear me? Ain't no need for nobody to be, you know, still self-destructing when we got an opportunity to be under self-construction, you know. Cause all of us can name a whole bunch of people that rather see us self-destructing than under self-construction. So we need to make sure we do something with this opportunity. You hear me? You know, cause to embrace and accept our shadow is the greatest thing that we can do. Yet it requires a lot of mental. It requires a lot of emotional, and in some cases, it requires a lot of physical discipline. But it most definitely requires spiritual discipline. You hear me? To embrace and accept our shadow is the greatest thing that we can do. That's why I love shadow work. I don't mind going into the deep and dark places, man. The greatest thing I could have did was transform. You hear me? Was become better than I never been. You hear me? And to become better than I never been, I had to do something I ain't never done. I had to do something I ain't never seen done. more so. You hear me? So we need to get this work in, man. That's why we was born into the families that we was born into. That's why we was born, you know, that's why we was navigated to the associations that we made. You see, that's why we was birthed in the environments that we was birthed into, the situations and the conditions that we found ourselves in, you know, through this opportunity of being a human being, so we could get some work done. See, so we could get this work done. So the people we no longer connected to, it's not because of what happened or what didn't happen. It's just the evidence that if we growing, if we maturing, if we expanding, if we evolving, it's just the evidence that we were no longer on the same frequency. You see, wherever the case may be, you hear me? All that's my purpose, for a reason. You hear me? No longer in the same frequency, and in many cases, never was on the same frequency. You know, and it's just the time that we get to see it, cause we just don't resonate no more. You see, regardless of who it is, regardless of what occurred, you see, Energy is everything. So this ain't personal. This vibrational. But the families we came into, the associations we made, the environments we find ourselves in, and etc. We came we came through them for a reason, and it was needed for us to get here, to get to this moment. You hear me? If you here, it was all for a reason for you to get to this moment. You hear me? You ain't here by mistake. You hear me? Cause I'm not. You hear me? It was all for us to get here, so we can get this work done, and or be and for some of us be the example of what the work is as we get it done. You see, because you are the work, because I am the work. That's why I'm here, cause I know I'm the work. You hear me? Or I be listening to y'all or y'all channel somewhere. You hear me? But that's just and that's just being real about it from a humble space. No matter how it may sound, the truth is the truth. But it was so we can get this work done. And if you here being an example where you being an example, I salute you. I salute you. But it's so we can get this work done, man, and show and assist others how to get it done. If you got it in you, because we can't buy it. We can't just put it on. And we just can't talk. We just can't talk like this, you gotta have it in you. You hear me? So I'm proud to be me, and I'm proud to be an assistant, an of assistant for y'all who appreciate it and able to comprehend my wavelength. Cause it ain't for everybody. You hear me? And that's okay. If it, that's okay. But yeah, by the example, and we can use a lot more examples, So it's important to know the difference between your energy and somebody else's. It's so important to know the difference between your energy and somebody else's. Just like it's important for me to know the difference between my energy and your energy, whoever you may be that come across the other side of these words. You hear me? Whether we in person or through a through a video. You heard? So yeah, that's how this thing works. It ain't personal. It's vibrational, cause these are initiations. Everything that happens is an initiation. So I don't compartmentalize nothing. I carry everything with me in my frontal lobe. You hear me? So I can just, as soon as I need a file to bring up, I could just bring it up. Like we watching the movie, like Max Born, I could just bring it up. Cause this is how my mind be working. So I'm trying to get y'all the, this live in the flesh. I'm trying to get y'all the higher demonstration of what we all be doing. But most don't know this is what we be doing. You hear me? But yeah, it's important to know the difference, man. Cause we collect so much. We collect so much mess, and everything we collect ain't mess. But we're in a world where it's more messiness being circulated, than it is righteousness being circulated. So we gotta be able to to know how we moving, and we gotta be able to know how we moving. You hear me? Be protected like vipers, But yeah, it's real, man. It's real. We be collecting a whole bunch of shit that ain't got nothing to do with us, that we have to end up transmuting because we don't allow ourselves to collect it by not being aware of how we moving inside. Not what's going on outside, but how we moving inside according to what's going on outside. You see, somebody will catch it. But as I said earlier, this may not be for all who hear it, This may not be for all who hear it, It's for anybody who willing to get it, though. That's for sure. It's willing for anybody who willing to get it. And these are just my realizations through my work. You hear me? Which is another reason that it's not personal, it's vibration. You hear me? And who resonate, gonna rock with it. But yeah, it's just realizations through my work. Things I've seen, things I've endured, things I've overcame. You hear me? as well as through others, that I work with and that I know personally. Yeah, these are this real life. Life is life. You hear me? Life is life. You heard? And you are not your trauma. You are not your experiences. You are not your hurt. You are not your pain. you know. And anybody that comes through and may be experiencing any of those things, you are not any of those things. But if you're experiencing those things, it's just meant for you to get to your true self. You hear me? It's just meant for you to get to your true self. And I'm gonna leave us with, matter of fact, no, I'm led to do something else. I was gonna leave us with that, but I'm led to do something else. We're already 25 minutes in. I might as well go and give us one. Shuffle these cards up right quick. I'm gonna go and give us one. See what the ancestors gonna say. Okay. Become aware. I was talking about it made me think about my brother talking at that Jaguar. You hear me? Become aware. Whatever it is. Become aware. Listen to the wisdom of your body. I love the synchronicities. I can't make that. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. Listen to the wisdom of your body. I just spoke to that. And that's the number 6. That's a good number. That's a good number. You hear me? And I'm right on the page. I ain't had to turn to nothing. Become aware. Man, the ancestors talking tonight. 6. Balance, abundance, equality. Prosperity. That's a good number. You hear me? Become aware. And it comes to, pardon me. Become aware. Our bodies are a wonderful collection of our lived experiences. Man. Man, how much more synchronization can we ask for? How much more confirmation can we ask for? Our bodies are a wonderful collection of our lived experiences. I just was saying, everything been for a reason. When you learn yourself, you realize you're here because you chose to come here, and you were granted access to come here for a reason. We can't have a spiritual, we can't have a human experience as a spiritual being without a body. You know how many how many souls want to come here? Our bodies are a wonderful collection of our lived experiences. Not just this lived experience, all of them. We ancient, but a lot of people, you can't tell that because their belief systems got them trapped. Certain things got them trapped, man. But for the most part, most of us ancient souls, man. We got to tune in, tap in, and turn on. Our bodies are a wonderful collection of our lived experiences. They hold for us our feelings, memories, and states of being. A living library of the subconscious. See, I am my higher self in physical form. I just know that, and I'm able to demonstrate that. You see, but I want you to be able to do it too. I said in the previous library, we're a library. The universe is a library, and it's a universal library within us. They hold for us our feelings, memories, and states of being. A living library of the subconscious. We gotta bring the subconscious to the surface, to the conscious level. Everybody conscious. We get to see what type of consciousness people operating in. Do we really know what we seeing? Do we really realize what we listening to through what we seeing? Are we paying attention? There is a beauty in this collective, but there can also be pain, particularly for the inner child. See, you are not your trauma. I just spoke to that. It was meant to get you to your true self. Because of this, it is a good time. It is good to practice becoming aware of our body's current state of being. Why? Because your body gonna let you know. Your body gonna let you know. Awareness exercise. In a comfortable place, close your eyes and bring your focus to your physical body. During this exercise, you may experience strong sensations in your body, no sensations in your body, or sensations that fall somewhere in between those two extremes. All of these responses are normal. The purpose of this practice is to connect with your unique body. And anybody that work out, you got to have a mind-body connection. So you already know this if you work out. Because that's the discipline of working out. Otherwise, you're going to end up hurting yourself. You got to have a mind-body connection. You hear me? With your eyes closed, bring your awareness to the inside of your body. Imagine what the space inside of you, inside of your head, pardon self, feels like. I'm going to repeat that. With your eyes closed, bring your awareness to the inside of your body. Imagine what the space inside of your head feels like. And imagine opening your eyes to the inside of your head and looking around. What do you see? How does your head feel? And I'm doing it with my eyes open. You hear me? Because I know how to focus. Where to focus my energy at. You hear me? What do you see? How does your head feel? I'm buzzing right now. Now that your gaze is focused inward. Now that your gaze is focused inward to your body, take a few deep breaths. Relaxing with each exhale. Practice bringing awareness once again to the top of your head. Does it feel heavy or light? Tense or relaxed? Can you attribute any of the sensations to an emotion? Can you describe it in the form of an emotion, in other words? Note how this area of your body feels and move downward, stopping at each area as you go along. The throat, your shoulders, the chest, the arms, and so forth. Responding journaling prompt. I told y'all to bring your notepad. What thoughts and sensations are coming to you after this practice? Is there anything that you feel you need to do for your body now? If so, do it. I love y'all, family. Stillness, abundance, love, light, health, and wholeness. Remember, feel good for no reason at all. You are not your trauma. Become aware. Peace to the Cosmic Conscious family and Troll Tribe. Thanks for the likes, shares, comments, questions, new subscribers, love offerings, donations, however you view them, so forth and so on. I appreciate y'all. Love, family. I'm known as Sawu. Be you how you be you. Till we do it again.